The Ballad of Bigfoot Jibberish in Rudd Hollow. A tale from the 1950s Smoky Mountain foothills. Prologue, Mist and Mystery. Back in the early autumn of 1953, when the Smoky Mountain foothills curled beneath a shroud of morning mist, Rudd Hollow was a patchwork of dirt roads, rickety cabins, and stories swapped on sagging porches. Evenings echoed with crickets and the far-off bark of a hound, but one tale whispered more than all: the legend of Bigfoot, the hairy, gibberish-spouting wanderer of the woods. Chapter 1: The Shimmering Eyes. Bobby Lee Turner, age 12 and as scrappy as a mountain squirrel, first heard the strange sounds on a September night. Moonlight leaked through the cracked windows of his family's cabin, and as Bobby Lee crept out to fetch his forgotten sling from the woodpile, something in the forest caught his ear: a garbled cascade of Hawrawr growling, mumble-wump, followed by the snap of a branch. He froze, sling in hand. The noises drew closer, tumbling nonsense syllables and deep-throated rumbles that made the hair on his arms prickle. Peering into the shadowy tree line, Bobby Lee glimpsed twin orbs glowing amber, rising taller than any man. Chapter 2: Gibberish in the Holler. Next morning, Bobby Lee's tale tumbled through Rudd Hollow like a wild creek. Old Mrs. Clemens, who kept chickens and secrets, claimed she'd heard the same gibberish, only hers came with the smell of wet dog and pine sap. Soon, the whole hollow was on edge, listening for the nighttime yell-bloop and gruffadoodle that echoed from the mountain's dark flank. Curiosity got the better of Bobby Lee and his friend, Otis Ray. Armed with a flashlight, 2 jars of pickled okra, and a dog-eared copy of The Hardy Boys, they set out at dusk to uncover the source of the nonsense. Each step deeper into the woods was met with snapping twigs and soft, rolling syllables: mumph griddle whoop. Chapter 3: The Encounter. Under the ancient sycamores, the boys stumbled into a moonlit clearing. There, looming against the silvered trunks, was Bigfoot, a shaggy, broad-shouldered giant whose feet were as wide as frying pans. He was mumbling to himself, stringing together sounds like a mountain preacher preaching to a flock of crows. Bobby Lee's courage welled up. "Hey there, mister. You lost or something?" he called, voice quivering. Bigfoot paused mid-gibberish. He turned, blinking big solemn eyes, and replied, "Wobble-floop higgly-jig mahna. Narf poodle ping." He pointed at the jars of okra. Otis, wide-eyed, unscrewed a jar and slid it across the moss. Bigfoot sniffed, took a bite, and danced a strange, heavy-footed jig, singing rumph. Fiddle-faddle bongo. The boys giggled, nerves melting in the oddity of the moment. Chapter 4: Secrets Shared. For the next 7 minutes, they traded stories in their own tongues, Bobby Lee and Otis in English, Bigfoot in rolling, delightful gibberish. The creature mimed catching fish, tickled the boys' chins with a stick, and patted his belly in satisfaction. When the moon climbed high, Bigfoot lumbered back into the shadows, pausing only to wave a massive hand and utter a final, mysterious, glowoppity-bloop, "Friends." His voice faded with the rustling leaves, leaving a sense of wonder in the air. Epilogue: The Legend Grows. Back in Rudd Hollow, the boys became local heroes. Folks laughed at the tale, some in disbelief, others with a knowing glint in their eye. But sometimes, on Smoky Mountain nights, you could hear a barely there rumble in the woods, Hawrawr fiddle-floop. And if you listen close enough, you might just catch a hint of laughter among the trees, where Bigfoot roamed and the gibberish of Rudd Hollow became legend.